All right, guys, just some futuristic betting stuff to note. First thing I wanted to talk about is the current odds to be the number one overall pick. And I will note that this was updated before both Bryce Young and CJ Stroud played phenomenal bowl games. So you can see right now Bryce Young, the betting favorite to go number one overall, plus 120. CJ Stroud is plus 200. Guys, my personal feel, certainly I'm expecting the Houston Texans to get the number one overall pick, and it just feels like Bryce Young is the fit. But with what CJ Stroud showed in the Peach Bowl, the mobility, he's taller, he's got the more traditional QB build, along with that mobility that we saw, I would not bet this at all. Even if I 1000% thought Bryce Young was going number one overall, there's no way I'm going to tie my money up into like a $200 or $300 bet that's not going to be, resolved until late April, which is when the draft is. So I just wanted to show people the overall odds here. It's going to be a quarterback number one overall. Even if Chicago gets the number one pick, 100% they will trade down. There's no reason they should be drafting. I know Will Anderson's really good, but you have to trade down at that point. You're going to get assets. There's teams that need franchise quarterbacks. And right now, they're really, I would say, potentially 3 elite tier, top 5, top 10 type overall picks when it comes to the quarterback position. Bryce Young, CJ Stroud, Will Levis. Jalen Carter will probably be a top 5 pick. I would say maybe Arizona if they don't get Will Anderson. If Will Anderson goes to Chicago at number 2, you would be looking at Jalen Carter at number 4 to Arizona. Soransky, certainly a good offensive tackle. He's not going number 1. Anthony Richardson's not going 1. None of these guys are going number 1. So really, to me, it comes down to one of the quarterbacks. If you want to say Will Levis is decent value, if someone falls in love with him, plus 1,000, I would agree with you, but I just don't see, it being worth it with all of the potential betting we have coming up with March Madness and things like that to have any of your money tied up unless you're very wealthy into one of these futuristic bets. And obviously, it's, if you've never followed the draft and how the combine works, it is a total crapshoot to where we could be talking about a guy as a top 5 pick right now, no games get played, and then by April he's picked 30th. It's how the draft process works out. So another quick thing to note is if you go to this site, Mock Draft Database, it's just good because it has all of like the official different sites and their recent mock drafts. You can see this one, all of these from today. Bryce Young number 1, Bryce Young number 1, Bryce Young number 1, Will Levis number 1, Indianapolis trading up to draft Bryce. See, this is probably what's going to happen, guys. When you have like 3 franchise quarterbacks, they're more than likely there's going to be multiple trades, multiple teams trading up, whether it's Carolina, whether it's Indianapolis, inside of the top 3 to draft one of the QBs. And more than likely, you'll get 3 QBs in the top 5 or 3 QBs within the first 3 picks. Of course, these guys, especially Will Levis, they're going to have to grade out really well in the interviews and things like that because Will Levis did not have necessarily the great stats. CJ Stroud, it was also a big question mark with his mobility, but against Georgia, he really showed significant improvement there. You guys can see also maybe Seattle with the number 3 pick right now because they own Denver's pick, maybe drafting Jalen Carter. I would have to see. I would not draft Jalen Carter in front of Will Anderson. There's no way. But you guys can see right now Bryce Young is the consensus number 1 overall pick. Bryce Young going to Houston right after these mock drafts, right after all of the bowl games have been played. Right there. So guys, just looking at different prop bets, NFL future bets. I've been in on this from the beginning, from the preseason. The Buffalo Bills to win the Super Bowl. It's plus 450 right now. I don't love the value of it. Just looking at the NFC, it just seems so shocking. The idea of Brock Purdy winning the Super Bowl to me. I don't see value in San Francisco, even though they do have probably the best roster or a top 3 roster in the NFL. Philadelphia, they're at plus 600. There's a little bit unknown with Jalen Hurts' injury situation. Cincinnati, plus 700. You know, they were in the Super Bowl last year. Honestly, guys, I probably like Dallas in terms of the value in this situation, plus 1,200. It doesn't feel like it's Tom Brady's year. The Chargers are just too inconsistent. You know, the Packers are just happy to be in the playoffs, but maybe, you know, I would have to see the Packers playoff run. Aaron Rodgers plus 2,500. It's almost like it's a good thing that the Packers are sneaking in the playoffs because we've seen them be the number 1 overall seed and totally choke. Honestly, guys, you have a wide open NFC. You really do. I'm not predicting it right now. How about Minnesota all the way down? Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. Minnesota has a good record. When you win a lot of close games, you know, it's not ideal in terms of beating really good teams back to back to back. Although we saw Cincinnati win all those close games last year and make it. The NFC is wide open. The AFC, to me, seems like Kansas City, Buffalo. It would be surprising if Cincinnati made back-to-back Super Bowls. I don't see it. I don't see the Chargers. I don't see the Ravens, but they are, you know, if they have a healthy Lamar Jackson, they've got a really elite defense. Jacksonville, it's not happening. The Giants, it's not happening. And then some of these teams might not even make the playoffs. So I do like the Bills. They are still my Super Bowl pick at this point. Of course, guys, we have the situation. Who's going to get the 1 seed in the AFC? How is the NFL going to figure that out? I think the NFL is hoping that the Chiefs somehow lose to Vegas, and if the Bills win, you know, you don't have to play that game against Cincinnati. The Bills will just have one less loss. They own the tiebreaker. They'll be the 1 seed, even not playing the 17th game. And then the conference winners, I don't see much value in that. The NFC, you know, maybe value in Green Bay, maybe value in Dallas, but I would just go overall Buffalo to win the Super Bowl. And then the season props, I actually made a video predicting stuff, and I did very well. I had Nick Bosa, Defensive Player of the Year. I had Justin Jefferson, Offensive Player of the Year. And Justin Jefferson, I believe, is leading the league in receiving. I don't know if he'll win Offensive Player of the Year, but I did predict that. And I do think Nick Bosa at this point is a lock for Defensive Player of the Year. There was kind of a debate between him and Micah Parsons, but recently it looks like it's going to Nick Bosa. So the Detroit Lions, I mean, those are, you know, plus 900. You don't want to do anything like that. We've got Coach of the Year. I had Kyle Shanahan in the preseason as my Coach of the Year. You know, he's in second place right now, second best odds, plus 200. You know, it's a tough call. We'll have to see what happens there. Comeback Player of the Year. I think I picked Saquon in the preseason. He's in third. McCaffrey. You know, the thing with McCaffrey is since he's went to San Francisco, I think they're like 8-1. So that's why I could see him winning that for sure. Offensive Rookie of the Year, I picked Garrett Wilson to win it. He is in second, unfortunately. But honestly, guys, if Garrett Wilson has like 150 yards this week, I think he's going to win it. I mean, he's already got 1,000 yards on the season. That's a really good rookie season with the quarterback play that he's had. And then the MVP, I did have Josh Allen winning the MVP. And honestly, I think he would have won it. He just threw a few too many interceptions. I believe he has 13 interceptions right now. So it's just too many interceptions. But it does look like Mahomes is going to win another MVP. He's got a very juicy matchup there against the Raiders where he should at least throw probably 3 touchdowns, 300 yards, and lock up another MVP award for him. And they don't have Defensive Player of the Year listed. I'm guessing because Nick Bosa is a big favorite. And they also don't have Offensive Player of the Year listed. I would think maybe Justin Jefferson wins it, but I haven't looked at, you know, if any running backs could win. I don't, you know, Derrick Henry's been good this year, but not good enough. Jamar Chase got injured, so I don't know, guys. I just wanted to go through some future bets and things like that when it comes to the draft and when it comes to the NFL playoffs. That's going to do it for this video. Make sure you're following me on Twitter. Link to that's always in the description. I'm, of course, the Depressed Ginger. Thank you for watching.